Hello, Vineland. My name is Robbins. I'm the athletic director here at Vineland High School. We've created some return-to-play guidelines for our fall student athletes to begin the process of returning our students and our student athletes both to education and to the field of play. I have some special guests with us today that I want to go through with our policies and procedures to discuss our return-to-play guidelines. A couple things to consider while you're sitting at home watching this. Some general information. On August the 6th, which is actually the day that I'm filming this video, our school nurses have begun working, collecting athletic physicals, beginning the processing athletic physicals for our fall athletes. They will be working in Vineland High School South. For those of you, the old 11-12 building, Vineland High School South, they'll be in the building daily, Monday through Thursday, from 8 a.m. to noon. In our current COVID environment, you'll have to come to the high school, ring the doorbell, security will let you in, and probably our nurses will come out and greet you at the door to help you with your questions and also to process your son or daughter's physical. Our athletic physicals are available on our Vineland High School Athletics website. You can go on there and download the form if you will. If you need a printed version, you can always contact my office. Again, Don Robbins, Athletic Department of Vineland High School. If you don't remember my name, you just type in Vineland High School Athletics, and my contact information is on there, as well as our athletic physicals, and a copy of our return-to-play guidelines, which we're going to review today. So, important thing to get your son or daughter started, again, is those nurses' hours, Monday through Thursday, for the remainder of the summer, from 8 a.m. to noon, and their offices are only going to be in Vineland High School South. The North Building, Dennis Tanner Building's nurses' office are going under construction right now, so we're doing all athletic physicals out of the South Building. As far as return to play goes, like I said, we're starting to formulate team lists and we're collecting collecting physicals, getting things going. On August the 17th, we're going to begin our Phase 1 return to play process. Phase 1 return to play is going to be very basic. It's not going to be sport specific. There's going to be no balls, no bats, no gloves, no sticks, no rackets involved. It's just return to play fitness, and we're going to do that for 2 weeks. Again, we're going to do that starting August the 17th, and we're going to run it through August the 27th. The goal of which is to reacclimate our student athlete, one, to an active fitness lifestyle. We're going to see where our student athletes are physically, how well they've kept themselves in shape for the last 4 months or so, 3 or 4 months. So it's going to be a fitness activity. We're going to do it outside. All these activities are going to happen outside of the high school. There's going to be screening processes in place, which we're going to review with our nursing staff and our athletic training staff in just a few minutes. Parents, a word to you from me. What we've tried to create and what I think we have created is a safe environment. It's going to be a very structured environment, a very controlled environment. And we're going to try to keep it, with all the structure and control, we're going to try to keep it a little bit fun for your son or daughter. But the emphasis is safety, the safety of your son or daughter. And I really believe we created a plan to do that. And we're going to review that plan in just a few minutes. Student athletes, just so you know, when you come to campus, if you participate in Phase 1, which again starts on the 17th of August, you'll be placed in a group. You're going to remain in that group for the entire duration of our Phase 1 workouts. So for the entire 2 weeks that you participate, you will be with the same people, the same guys and gals for the entire time that you're participating in this. Pods and groups cannot change, and our groups that we're associated with will not change. One thing I do want to stress to our student athletes during this time, student athletes, you're the first students returning to our campus since March. And it's an incredible opportunity. Hopefully it's a fun opportunity to get ourselves back in shape, get to see our friends again. But the opportunity also comes with responsibility for being ambassadors for the rest of our Vineland students and the rest of our Vineland community, to follow the rules, to follow the guidelines, and do so in a safe manner. And anyone who comes to campus and does not follow our policies and procedures will be asked to discontinue Phase 1 in the interest of safety of everybody. So the first group of people I'd like to introduce today is Trainer Dave and Trainer Dara. They're going to be talking about athletic training, policies and procedures. as it goes to phase one. One thing I'd like to mention before I leave, and I'll come back at the end and do a little recap. I failed to mention that our workouts on these days, starting on the 17th, are going to be 1 hour in duration. All right, we're going to check in our student athletes between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. That's the hour time frame that we're going to do our check-ins. At 8 a.m., check-ins will cease, will stop, and workouts will begin promptly at 8:15. If you're late, you don't need to come. Again, these policies and procedures are in the interest of safety. If you show up at 8:10, you're not going to be able to participate that day, but there's no harm, there's no foul. It's not going to affect your ability to make a team, to participate on a team. It's just that we want to make sure that we're scanning, and we're going to, again, the nurses and our trainers will discuss our training, our scanning procedures, but we want to make sure that we do this in a responsible, controlled way. So therefore, we're asking the student athletes and parents to arrive between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. If you can't make it before 8, hey, stay home and see us the next time around for your group. So with no further ado, I'd like to introduce Dave Reckenbile and Dara Tomasello, our athletic trainers. This time, as I mentioned, I'd like to introduce Dara Tomasello and Dave Reckenbile, our two athletic trainers here at Vineland High School. They're going to discuss some of the policies and procedures with our workouts that, again, are starting on August the 17th. Dave, I guess I'll start with you. What days and what times will teams be working out on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Tuesdays and Thursdays?
Okay, so Monday and Wednesday right now we have slated for football, boys soccer, sorry, that's probably a little better, and boys cross country. Tuesday and Thursday, we're looking at girls cross country, girls soccer, field hockey, tennis, and cheerleading. During that phase one, no equipment, as Mr. Robbins has stated, will be allowed on any of the fields for the workouts. Okay, and we will also really be hitting home on contact. Obviously, there's no contact. All right, no fist bumps, no high fives when everybody shows up, and we're trying to keep this straightforward.
Thanks, Dave. Hey, Dara, where can a parent or a student athlete check to see what times are scheduled or if there's any changes due to inclement weather?
It's a good question. We're going to put together a remind class that you'll see on the screen of the code that you can join so that either the day before or the morning of, if for inclement weather it needs to be canceled or things get changed, your son or daughter will just get texted to it. So either it will be up on the screen and we'll also have a notification of it the first day that you arrive on that Monday with how to join to get the messages for any immediate updates that may take place because of changes and whatnot.
And our workouts, they're going to occur inside the building or outside?
Everything will be outside of the building. There's nothing going to be inside. The only thing that would be available inside would just be the restrooms in one specific area with a limited number, obviously, of people coming in and out for the restrooms. But everything will be strictly outside.
All right, Dara, during our check-in times, between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m., Monday through Thursday, what specifically will we be looking for when we're checking in student athletes?
So when you pull up through the Brewster Avenue entrance into the school for the South Building, we're going to stay in your car, parents, student athletes. It's no getting out at first. So we're going to be checking to make sure that you have it. It's the first day, any paperwork that hasn't been handed in prior to. So physicals, research, the COVID questionnaire will be stuff that we'll be looking for. And then in addition to, it'll be your 32-ounce water bottle with you, since we won't be having specific water bottles that we can be handing out, and also masks to bring with you. So those are the things that we're going to be looking for before we go into doing the temperature checks and the questionnaires that you'll be asked while you're still in the car.
All right, if a student athlete shows up and they don't have their mask or they don't have their COVID questionnaire, what happens to the student on that day?
That specific day, the student will be sent home. Coming with all the required stuff is important, just so that we can continue to keep everyone safe and have all the workouts. So if you don't come with that stuff, then you will be sent home.
Dave, a question for you. I've read so much and heard so much about this 100.4 temperature. If a student comes in to Vineland High School and goes through the screening process and their temperature is 100.4 or higher, what process will this student go through?
If a student comes in with a 100.4 temperature or higher, They will be sent home unless there's something that we've seen as far as maybe they haven't gotten there in time or they're running around in the morning. Sometimes we can put them to a side after a 10-minute period, check them again, but then again, parents would have to stay in campus or at campus to wait for their student to be tested again.
So Dave, when a parent or a student athlete arrives on our campus to go through screening, how should they enter the campus and what will that look like? Will it be a line, one line?
As we come through the campus, as Dara had mentioned, you're going to come through Brewster Avenue. Brewster Avenue will have some maintenance guys that we have, our athletic maintenance, that will be guiding people through the Brewster Avenue entrance, and then we'll be doing all our checks underneath, the overhang outside of the athletic training room and the West Cafeteria area. Okay, once we find that your temperature is good and we have all your paperwork, then you can exit the vehicle and we'll guide you to our nurses to get all your information, whether physicals, your questionnaire, your daily questions that we have to ask you, and then we'll disperse from there.
Okay, Dara, in the interest of coaches communicating with student athletes and parents, how are coaches planning on communicating their schedules with parents and student athletes? Are they setting anything up online for parents to see?
Yes, well, I believe that most coaches now have their Google Classroom set up for their teams so that would have any pertinent sport-specific information posted in the coach's classroom. And in addition to the information that you see us holding will also be posted on the sports Google Classroom.
Now, we mentioned starting this program in the middle of August. Could be hot. As most of our returning student athletes know about our heat-related protocols. Dara, will these heat-related protocols still be in order as they have been in the past?
Yes, absolutely. We will still be following all our heat-related protocols and monitoring the temperature outside. It's one of the reasons why we're having you come with 32 ounces of water for an hour workout, and all of that will still be monitored and enforced for this workout.
Okay, very good. Trainer Dave, last thing I guess for the trainers, as far as screening goes, what are student athletes going to see when they arrive on campus? I mean, it's a little bit of a different world nowadays that we live in. When they go through this screening process, what's it going to look like?
Well, the first few days of doing the screening, it's going to be obviously an adjustment. No one really knows how many students we may expect. We're going to have numerous people on staff that day to try to get everything through fast and quick for all our students to be able to kind of get moving. But coming through Brewster and staying in the line, if kids are coming via bike, guess what? You got to be in line as well, all right? Because we can't just have everybody jumping in, and we got to keep our social distancing and try to keep everything safe for everyone to follow through. So just kind of bear with us as we get through the process, and each day will get better and better and better. But this is new for everyone.
Thanks, David. Dara.
Thank you.
Hi, Dr. Robbins again, Athletic Director. I want to stress, thanks Dave and Dara first off for coming in and filling us in on athletic training policies and procedures for this return to play guidelines. I just want to stress one thing that Dara said several times. Our campus outdoors is going to be open during these hours for our student athletes, but our buildings are closed unless you're granted permission to come in. So student athletes will not be in the building for any reason. We will have designated restrooms that we will talk about at the end of this with our maintenance program, but we will not be in the building for any reason. The other thing I'd like to mention, as we've all went through since March, things change daily, weekly, sometimes by the minute. So I think what Mrs. Tomasello brought up about checking your coaches' Google Classroom, checking in online. Our schedules change daily. Not only are we dealing with the weather and heat, but we're also dealing with the virus. And hey, we made a plan. We feel like it's a responsible plan, but things change so fast. And we just want to make sure that everybody's on the same page as far as scheduling goes. This time I'd like to introduce one of our school nurses, Miss Sandy Arsenal. and she's going to come up and talk about nursing policies and procedures.
Hello everybody, if you notice I'm wearing my mask, which is very important. I'm going to take it off so we can I can speak to you. Very important, when we have these trainings, masks and gloves. Just want to make a reminder too, is we're going to have hand sanitizer here. We're also, very important to bring your water, that 32 ounce. If you want to drink before, that's even better. But make sure you have a 32 ounce bottle in your hand. We do not supply the mask. So like one of the trainers said, or gloves, you must supply that. That is a plus, or you can turn it away. Another thing that, if you notice in your little packet that you can receive on Google, coaches, classroom, which is a coaches, sorry about that, you'll also see our hours of when you can bring in the physical. Today we're here again from 8 to 9, but if you look on it, you'll see next week's schedule, and you'll also see the schedule for the 17th and 18th. If you have any questions, we will be out there. I will also be looking for people who have research versus people who don't have research, people who need to bring me medicine or anything that we've done in the past. It's still the same. But like I said, the most important thing at this point is we want everybody to be safe, healthy, safe. And like I said, the importance of wearing your mask, wearing your gloves, make sure you bring your water, because we want everybody to have fun. Like I said, it isn't just, this is a fun thing to do, which maybe I'll do it. but like I said, this is great. And like I said, anything you have questions, just take out this packet. It's on that classroom, because that will tell you the time. I try to tell everybody, we actually want to, if people could bring their physicals before 11:30 too, because sometimes it takes us a little while to process that. So very important to bring this. If you want to bring these, have any questions, we're there to answer. 17th, we'll be right out there. We're going to be researching everybody's medical. We can look it up for you. Like if you have any outstanding gym notes or whatever, because they're important to be cleared too as well. So if anybody has any questions at this point, now if you have any questions.
Yeah, Mrs. Arsenal, our coaches are going through specific training right now prior to these workouts based on COVID-19 certification and heat acclimatization certification. How important in dealing with COVID-19 is education for our coaches and for our student athletes and parents?
It's very, very important, especially this time, because as we know, people have been following the news. We've lost a lot of loved ones, and that's why we have to be safe, because we're not just being safe, we're got to be safe for our team members, our coaches, the nurses, administration, but we also have to remember that when you're done with us, that we also go home to your loved ones. So it's very, very important to follow these rules. One thing that I want to mention, if you do have any type of fever prior to coming, I would recommend just staying home and contacting your doctor to see if they want to go from there. Because I do know that there's some free services out there to have free testing as well.
And Mrs. Arsenal, you mentioned if you're not feeling well, if you have a fever, obviously we're recommending that you stay home. Having said that, that doesn't affect your ability to make the team come September or anything like that, correct?
It doesn't affect you at all. In fact, like I said, this is just kind of a fun practice, and it's kind of a way for us to get your physicals in so you will be ready for when everybody comes back, and hopefully there'll be a norm.
Very good. Thank you, Mrs. Arsenal. I really appreciate your input.
No problem. And if anybody wants to reach me, they can also reach me at my office. I know we're here at 8 to noon, Monday through Friday.
You know what, Mrs. Arsenal, while we have you here, in processing student athletes' physicals on a yearly basis, 3 times a year for fall, winter, and spring sports, any recommendations as far as looking for making sure everything is checked off prior to a parent bringing you the forms from the doctor?
Well, they can actually call me personally, or they can actually email me. And if you go on Vineland.org, you'll see my website. It's actually S and it's Arsenal, ARSENAULT.org. And if you email me a question, I can also, I can just email you back with this result, because I have the capability of looking into Genesis and looking up everybody's medical history as well.
What would be a phone extension to reach you out here at the high school?
My extension is 2529.
2529.
I also want to bring up, there's also the other nurses in the North Vineland. That's Mrs. Broom. She's also available. She also will be here from 8 to 12 during this time, like I said in the packet. And if you have any questions for her, she can also answer questions. And you know, if you want to email her, she can also look up the information as well on Genesis.
Very good. Thank you again, Mrs. Arsenal.
You're welcome.
All right, parents and student athletes, just a few reminders before we leave our program for today. We're going to start working out on the 17th, fitness only, trying to reacclimate our student athletes to the athletic process and a little bit of training. I know Coach Shields and some of our other coaches are excited to create a fun workout, a fun environment, but again, it's going to be very controlled and very regulated. So we want to make sure that everybody's participating, having fun, but also following the rules. A couple other key dates I wanted to run by. This is not the start of the fall athletic season. It's not mandatory. It doesn't affect your ability to make the team or not make the team come September. Fall sports actually are going to start practicing on September the 14th. So September the 14th will be the date that our fall sport teams start actual practice. This is just a 2-week fitness workshop, again, getting our student athletes back in shape. The NJSIA, which is the State Athletic Association, put in a blackout period, a no contact period from August 31st that's going to run through September the 13th. The goal of that blackout period, non-contact period, for coaches to student athletes is to allow our students to reacclimate to the educational facilities and get ready to get back in school in what so many people have called the new normal. So there's a 2-week window between August 31st and September 13th where we will not have any workouts. Coaches can contact their student athletes through their Google Classroom. They can have virtual conversations as far as team strategy and things of that nature, but there won't be any practices until September the 14th. Lastly, I'm a parent. I would think that some of the parents are going to want to know what we have here at the campus. We have infrared thermometers for all of our coaches. Student athletes will be temperature checked when they arrive in their vehicle. Prior to getting out of the vehicle, we will be checking for masks. We'll be checking, as we mentioned several times, 32 ounces of water. There's a COVID questionnaire that students must fill out and bring with them. I know there's a Google document for that that Mrs. Tomasello created. Our athletic training room is open only for emergencies. As we mentioned again several times during the video, all of these activities hopefully will take place outside of the building because our buildings have been sanitized by Mr. Farinaccio and his crew. They've done a good job all summer long in disinfecting and cleaning and sanitizing our buildings. But in the event of an emergency, I just want parents to know, yeah, we'll be coming inside if there's some type of emergency. Our restrooms, we will have a male and female restroom opened on a daily basis during these workouts. That will be inside the building. I've assigned a maintenance person to be outside of those restrooms, and the restrooms will be cleaned in between every student use. So your son or your daughter uses a restroom, you can rest assured that prior to your son or daughter using a restroom and after them leaving, the restroom will be cleaned and disinfected following COVID-19 guidelines with each and every use. Students will enter the campus off Brewster Road, coming in by the JV softball field. When you arrive on campus, you'll be greeted by 2 security officers that will direct you to get in line. Hopefully, we're going to move things along as fast as we can. Again, as Trainer Dave mentioned, the first go round, we want to make sure, number one, we're safe. Of course, we want to get everybody in and out as fast as we can. But our number one goal is going to be safety and making sure that our screening is done responsibly and correctly. So, having said that, again, my name is Don Robbins. I work here at Vineland High School South. All of my information is online at the Vineland Athletics webpage. You can check in with your coaches on their Google Classrooms. Some of them, as you know, have contacted your son or daughter already. But communication, I think, is the key to this whole thing. We're all dealing with new issues and new challenges on a daily basis. And communication is the key to that. So if you have any questions, concerns, you can always email my office. If you don't remember my name, just look up Sports Guy, the Athletic Guy, and you'll find my information. It's there. To call the office, email the office, and I'll be happy to answer any of your questions about athletic training, about the nurses, anything to do with athletics. So thank everybody for watching. Hopefully we've answered some of your questions, and very hopeful we'll see your sons and daughters on August the 17th. Thanks for watching.